replenish the body, boost up your immune system. Ladies, soothing up that beautiful skin. Fellas, ease those unwanted bowel movements, or we just get up in age and become elders. And our joints don't want to act right? Log on to BlackSpatula.LLC.com. Yes, that's BlackSpatulallc.com, providing that purple and sea moss gold, gel or in raw form, straight from the Jamaican waters, to help stand strong in this fight against the heavyweight champ, coronavirus, and that June bug flu. And you can pick up those organic, homemade elderberries to help relieve nasal congestion, anti-inflammatory, potent anti-cancer, antiviral, treats respiratory illness, aid in wound care, high in vitamin A, B, C, and potassium, and natural support for arthritis. And if you hit them with that G code, man, Black Spatula just might get you 20% off total purchase. Now, go follow Black Spatula on social media. All right. I want to thank you all for attending out there. We have a powerful show. I know. Y'all want to see. I know. So, let's go ahead and give you something new. I wanted to do something this week different. And the reason why is because last week I got a strike. Yes, I got a strike, YouTube family. I am officially indoctrinated into the YouTube streets. They initiated me in. That's because I'm a little faded. Because let me get back to this and then I'll get to that. We are going to definitely get into something different because of the strike. We cannot get too deep this week. We're going to take a break so all the elders that probably wanted to hang out and get into some of that information, all these, Johnny come lately thought they was going to hear some more powerful. What you still are is just not going to be on the same level as last week due to the fact of the strike. I'm going to take a break. All right, YouTube, you got me. Only been here 2 episodes. I'm 3 in, and you got me. I'm gonna chill out for a hot second. But since you wanted to do it that way, we're going to go ahead and have an uncensored show. Fuck all that. They must don't know who I am. I come from a long legacy of not really giving a fuck what you say or what you do. At the same time, I will respect the rights and the requirements, so this will be age restricted, and this show definitely will be picking up. So, my guest today is perfect for this setting. We go back, way back, almost 25 plus years. Not to mention, he is the co-founder of the legendary, small but long, but classical hit show or program called The True and G Show. And before I bring into my guest, what a lot of our former followers and listeners did not know, we were artists back in the day. Me, True. He had another name. We won't get into that, so we'll keep that disclosed. But we definitely were into the hip-hop scene, heavy into the rap, especially on the underground and climbing our way up to the top. So I think the best way to introduce the person that I'm talking to is to go ahead and bring them on, but not in the way that you think. Let's open it up like this.
This is a Don Morocco exclusive.
Streets ain't waiting no more. Here now, we gon' send this one back out to you know who. I ain't forgot, nigga. Keep it wet. I'm riding by myself to the end, fuck friends. I'm riding by myself to the end, fuck friends. I'm riding by myself to the end. I don't need nobody help. I'm a motherfucker.
Look at us, ritual was closer than brothers. My auntie, your grandmother became teams. What on the other team, still I loved you never. Figured for a moment it'd be my family that crossed me. Picture my own flesh and blood plotting to off me. Tell me, with fam like these, who need enemies? Believe money spread jealousy like a disease. It would have been nothing, I could have sent the squad with ease. Ask yourself, was your life worth a couple of G's? My first reaction, reach for the ratchet and blast the bastard. Don't make the little money you stole to pay for your casket. Monty told me to let it be. Don't call them boys on the block, cause family fuck up, but it's all we got. They say money motivate a nigga to murk his people. It ain't money, nigga, it's just the heart of people. Stole my money, nigga, watch how quick this shit get evil. It ain't funny, I can fix it, grab the desert eagle.
I'm riding by myself to the end. I got murder in my eyes, on my mind is revenge. I don't need nobody help, cause I got my Mac 10. I can do it by myself, I'm a motherfucking man, fuck friends. I'm riding by myself to the end, fuck friends. I'm riding by myself to the end, fuck friends. I'm riding by myself to the end. I don't need nobody help, I'm a motherfucking
Shit, I can see in your eyes the hatred that you harbor inside. You'd rather me die. Can't stand to see a young nigga rise, born to survive. Climb to the top of the chart. On me, I'm blessed and I can care less if you take it to heart. Keep your knee deep, but G, cause the streets understand me. Learned the hard way. Everybody that's your key and ain't your family. Been around a minute, then circled the block a few times. Learned to cope with my pain, express my life in these lines. I breathe breath into these lyrics, create life in my rhymes. It ain't possible for the moon to dim a star shine. Let me know why you motherfuckers wanna stop mine. It ain't hard to tell your whole fucking existence in the bind. What goes around comes around, trouble ain't hard to find. So when you see me in the streets, nigga, reach for your iron. I'm a boss, so my philosophy is more like Columbine. Wanna make it right and take your life, no gun, use mine.
I'm riding by myself to the end. I got murder in my eyes, on my mind is revenge. I don't need nobody help, cause I got my Mac 10. I can do it by myself, I'm a motherfucking man, fuck friends. I'm riding by myself to the end, fuck friends. I'm riding by myself to the end, fuck friends. I'm riding by myself to the end. I don't need nobody help.
Double rocker, keep it west, nigga.
Yo, that was some deep shit right there. True, are you with me?
Yo, you got me over here feeling old, bro.
Bro, we definitely are. We definitely are. Listening to that, man, you know, when I first heard that, what year did you make that song?
That was 2005.
2005? Damn. You know what I mean? We ain't even gonna get. Well, I gave away my age already, but if you're close to me, they know that you're somewhere around that age. So that it.
Yeah, I'm 42, man. Age is a blessing. So
Facts, man. Taking it back to that, when I hear the words "fuck friends," and before we begin, I do want all those listeners out there. This is the time where you grab your blunts, your drink, your Henny, your Grey Goose, and whatever side your main chick that you're with, cuddle up, get ready to laugh, listen, you may even cry, because the old school team is back. True and G, most livest motherfuckers that was on the radio back in those times. Now, besides that little pitch, this is G's Mystery Show, Our World Revealed, new and improved. True, when you made that song "Fuck Friends," I actually thought that you was talking about me for the first few seconds.
I remember we went through our little ups and downs at that time, huh?
Yeah, we was actually going through some things too, so I wasn't sure was that made towards me. And so can you elaborate who was that song actually about, if you don't mind? I don't want to incriminate anything.
Yeah, no, that was more or less about real family. You know what I mean? Going through some issues with some real family, instead of acting out on frustration. You know, we put it to a beat.
That was deep. You know what I mean? That was a deep track. I just wanted to know, man. But you know, while we break down why you're here, 2020 Revisited, I'm definitely going to give you the proper justice and due, especially now because it's a lot of music out here that a lot of people listen to, and I don't think they really know just how, I hate to use the word real, but I have to, how real concrete the music was from the mid 90s to the early 2000s on the subject matter and the actual heartfelt. You know, I know you get a lot of comparisons to Pac, no?
I did back then. I did. I think, you know, we was on the cuffs of that being able to experience the 90s. So a lot of people had that 90s feel in the early 2000s, you know?
Mm-hmm. Facts. Let me ask you this, man. You know how I do. Being from the True and G show, you know I like to dive in a little bit, get into a person's mind, and just take everybody back on how they were when they were a kid. Yes, this will probably be the only show you guys see me smoking because this is a reunion. The True and G show on G's Mystery Show, Our World Revealed. So I'm going to take a pop of this right here. That's for the listeners out there on them other streaming platforms. I hope you guys are relaxing because today this is a relaxed, chill night, but we're definitely about to get deep into some real shit, especially looking back on 2020. So, True, where'd you grow up at?
One more time, I didn't catch that.
Where'd you grow up at?
I grew up in San Bernardino, California.
Okay, you from the hood, my G. That's what's up. That's what's up. What is it like growing up in San Bernardino?
I mean, I think as a child, we didn't really notice the, you know, the issues. You kind of grow up in it, but San Bernardino's like any other urban area. You know, that's smaller than the big city, but still active like a big city.
Gotcha. I believe that it is probably one of the biggest counties in United States, if I'm correct. Am I correct on that?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, the Inland Empire is the biggest county in the United States.
IE. Man, so being from IE, that puts you in Southern California, and we definitely have a different type of culture than other areas, you know, LA, Long Beach, Compton, Watts, Inland Empire, you know, and then almost all the way up to the Bay. We definitely on the West Coast, even Arizona's a part of that. We definitely live a different lifestyle and a culture. But we all are glued into movies. What movie could you say that as a child you imitated the most, that you probably off the top of the head could mimic and just throw out there? I ain't gonna ask you to say it or anything, and I know you're a G, but you know, what movie out there?
I would say Menace was more like our childhood because it wasn't always bad. You know, it was a lot of house parties, a lot of polka dots in the early 90s, cross colors, used jeans. Everybody wasn't khakied outside. You know what I mean?
So
we had it was a different, we were more or less that, you know, before the internet, so we were still out there, you know, house partying, you know, late nights, you know what I mean, you know, going to different little functions, after school functions, things like that. So we had a pretty decent teenage life, you know what I mean? But then it was still active. You still had the gangs was prevalent.
So let me ask you this.
Everybody you knew was, you know, involved with it.
We're the same age, so why Menace to Society over Boys in the Hood or Colors?
Because I think Menace showed both. You know, Menace showed, you know, the party atmosphere, how every day wasn't necessarily planned. It was more impulsive. You know what I mean? I think Colors was more or less the generation before us. You know, we grew up in the 80s. We were 80s babies, but we were kids in the 80s. We kind of hit that teenage, that puberty years in the early 90s. You know what I mean?
Facts.
So Colors is for that older generation. I think Menace is a proper display of, like I said, the good and bad. Every day was a different journey, a different mission.
Now, I'm not trying to put West Coast against East Coast, but out of Belly, New Jersey Drive, I know they got a few others I'm probably leaving out. Oh, one of my favorites, Paid in Full. Where do you put those towards Menace to Society?
I mean, as far as us growing up on the West Coast, I think Menace is more of an accurate description of life in the 90s. You know what I mean? It was you had a little bit of everything. And because the weather permitted us to do a lot more than what they were able to do, you know, it's still active in the East Coast, but, you know, when it's 3 below zero, you ain't outside doing much. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
We had basically 2 seasons. You know what I mean?
Yeah, facts. Facts. But in Cali, you know, we can go anywhere and enjoy all the seasons. If we want to enjoy the snow, go up to the mountains. We want to enjoy the beach, right there on the coastline. Rains, they say it never rains in Southern California, but I beg to differ. It rains. Just not when you want it to, but it's going to rain when you don't. And fuck up that nice little car wash you got trying to stunt, you know? And what else? Oh, we definitely got heat. Not the Arizona heat, but we got heat. But, so, sticking to that, let me ask you this, True. Because you're an artist, well, a former artist, and probably still an artist. Once you're an artist, you're always an artist. And the type of music that you was painting, those are memories. So you're definitely an artist. You had a paintbrush. So who inspired you to actually write like that and to be that vivid in your creations with your words?
I mean, I think I go back, like I said, we kind of hit the golden era of music. So, I mean, I had a lot of different, I think the first, like, street music that I heard would have to go back to, like, Coogee Rap and Polo, you know what I mean? And then once NWA hit, it was more relatable, you know what I mean? Because they were talking more about where we come from. But I would say Pac. I would have to say Pac or Scarface. You know, to me, those was the influences that made me want to, you know, grab a pen and try to write.
Got you. So let me ask you this now. Going back to all of that, because your childhood is definitely, you know, remarkable. And it's heavy, from your experiences to your pain to joy. I know a lot of it, but it's not for me to say. But at the same time, I do want to ask you something serious. You know, growing up in the hood, man, we used to be hungry. Sometimes up in the bunk bed, just crunching our stomachs and nothing to eat inside. Let me ask you, man, when you was a child, what was your go-to meal to make when there was no food inside the refrigerator?
Oh, man. We did syrup sandwiches, the fried bologna, if it was bologna. I mean, sometimes it was just butter and bread if you had butter. I mean, we had some rough moments. Noodles was always a go-to. You know, I have a lot of siblings, so I was one of the youngers of 10 siblings. So by the time I hit that age, my siblings were already off the porch. So, you know what I mean? I definitely had a different upbringing than they did, you know. But I would say that the choke sandwiches, the peanut butter sandwiches, the syrup sandwiches, anything when it was bread you can put between the bread, you would eat.
Facts. I remember going up in there and making miracle sandwiches, just straight Miracle Whip and bread. You know what I mean? How about this? Powdered eggs and powdered milk.
Yeah.
That take you back?
Powdered eggs, powdered milk. That took me back right there, bro. That powdered eggs used to be something special.
Man.
It used to be something special.
I feel eating and just growing up in those type of pains and days, you kind of journey and a different experience than most, especially today. And I know they get tired of hearing this. That's to you youngins. I know y'all be like, these old niggas always talking that old gray beard shit. But it's the truth. You guys don't go outside anymore. We did. Our punishment was not to go outside. Your punishment is you gotta go outside, and you can't handle that. Back then, our lifestyles, what we ate, what we did, definitely changed the way we grew up. But we failed you guys because we fucked up inside of hip hop and took it somewhere else, and you guys picked it up. But that's another subject, because on the True and G show, True, we talked about a lot of subjects. We talked about, is hip hop raising your kids, deadbeat dads, fatherless America, black conspiracies. Is there a patent on the black movement? I mean, we talked about so many things and so many shows, but there is one that sticks out to me. Let me ask you, is there some that stick out to you, or do you have a favorite moment back on the True and G show?
I think when we were talking about the family unit, I don't remember the specific show. But, you know, that's always been my passion. You know what I mean? Us discussing the real root of how we can change. And everybody had a philosophy on how we can change outside. But, you know, I think the biggest moment was when we touched on how we can start to change within the household. You know what I mean? Give our kids better to be better leaders in the future.
That's dope, you know. So, should we be looking up to others, or is it the household that we should be looking up to?
It's got to be the household, bro. I mean, you know, we see I think every generation has its moments. You know what I mean? Its defining moments. With ours, you know, I think a lot of us looked at the music as being a golden era. But we kind of dropped the ball in transition when we were passing off the baton. You know what I mean? Instead of creating more artists, we should have been creating more executives, more doctors. We should have been trying to put that golden era, that platinum money back into the community to where, you know, we're giving a better reflection of ourselves.
No,
Can't really be mad at the shit where we at now, because, nigga, we filtered it, we planted the seeds, and they just grew on their own.
No, that's a fact. That's a fact. And because I know you don't really like to be seen anymore, you like to stay low key, I really haven't been showing it, but I will go ahead and show just a little bit of who we're dealing with and who we're talking to behind the lines. You're dealing with True from the True and G show, with a bunch of other aliases. Now, True, there was a little clip that I pulled out from the True and G show. You know, we had a lot of fun, man. We said a lot of foul shit on True and G show, you know. But there's one clip that I definitely want you to laugh with me and just stroll back through memory lane. You down?
Yeah, I'm with it. Let's do it.
Okay.
We also just said earlier in the show that women cheat differently from men. So, you know, a lot of times a woman is looking at what she's missing intimate-wise, you know what I mean? So she's going to somebody that want to cuddle, and you know, she going to give him the pussy along the way and telling her compliments and shit like that. So, I mean, you can't necessarily use that as a fact or as a basis, you know, because women cheat than with men.
Yeah, but I'm talking about when you're dealing with when you're dealing.
I want to get off onto that because I ain't really. That was too much graphics for my own mental, my nigga. You know what I mean? I really feel like a motherfucker that you know, I don't think is more or less based on men and females, because you got to look, when a niggas, when we get it in, we gonna bust. And an hour, 2 hours. Fuck that. Nigga, you busting 20, 30 minutes tops.
I'm doing over 10 minutes. I ain't even gonna lie. I'm 10 minutes and I'm thinking about something else.
Let me tell you though, that woman's anatomy, bro, it might take her 2-3 hours. You know what I mean? If the nigga ain't,
I figured that out though,
he
true.
might be a lot more hornier than what he is, my nigga.
So, you know what I mean, if they're really into you, they're going to bust, you know what I mean? And that's why the whole monogamy thing, when it comes to women, you know what I mean, it's more of a emotional attachment, you know what I mean, and how she feels.
You're right, because if I'm not connected to you emotionally, I'm not into sex.
Most definitely. So
it's not a pleasurable moment to me.
Right. So let me ask you this. Do you think it is more due to financial distractions or the simple lustful desires that play a big part of why women cheat on their male counterparts?
No, it's more emotional. Like, I'm throwing you a million signs and you still not, catching on. It's something that maybe I can't verbalize to you that I think you should know. And that's what I think a lot of our problem is, too, as women. We don't communicate with our men with our needs. Throw attitudes instead of communicating exactly what is going wrong in our relationship.
I agree with you 100%. You women need to start talking to us more. Let us know what's real before we start looking at that bigger booty. I'm just...
What you think about that, True? That bring back memory lanes?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I think it ring even more so true nowadays, man. I think as you get older, you look back on some of the good women that you messed over, and everything happens for a reason. But I think the key factor in all of our memories, especially the good ones, is if we were more open to communicate, not just about needs, but also expectations and beliefs. So I think that shit rings more true today than what it did, 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
Facts. So what we're going to do right here, we're going to go ahead and take a small break. But since we do have True on the line, and one of my favorite artists of all time, not just because he's close to me, but because he really is. He definitely was one of the dopest, realest artists of all time, and because this is about him, and he's my special guest. And before we actually get into 2020 Revisited, we're going to continue on and give my man Fuck the Flowers, like I said to Kitty, and all those I respect, that respect and my honor. So, with that being said, we'll be back.
West Radio.
Big ups to the block. 1-5-0-0 714, nigga. Lil Nutty Nut. This one right here is for my road dog. No names necessary. You know who you are. Check. Some real shit. Ball or die, nigga. Whatever the case be, I'd sacrifice my life for you. No second thoughts for your transgressions. I nail myself to the cross, paid the cost for your worst sins. A sacrificial lamb. If we get some places, I do your time in to being your closest friend to wipe the slate clean. Since we were teens, I loved you like my twin brother. I know it's hard to lose your mother in that situation. I bought the cap and gown for your son's graduation. I guarantee this incarceration ain't your fate. To grant you appeal, I travel state to state to find a lawyer to take your case. Even though you face the valley of death in the beast's heart, I pray that God never keeps us apart. Even if the moon turns dark and the sun never shines again, my loyalty can be seen clearly by a blind man. It's time to take a stand and bring to an end the lives of these niggas that put my dog in the devil's den. We was raised as young KGs, never gave a fuck about society. Only out to stack fatty, all my rivalries get no pity. Act shitty cause in the hood we trust, and for the hood we bust. We was raised as young KGs, Never gave a fuck about society. Only out to stack fatty. All my robberies get no pity. Act shitty, cause in the hood we trust it. Without no questions whether you right or wrong, it's time to ride. Since we was adolescents, pack weapons, my niggas that hate with aggression. Ain't no secret, dog, I know that you stressing. Vivid pictures of bitch niggas confessing. See the hurt in your facial expression. I received your affliction letter today. From what it seems you doing better today. Push-ups got you swolled up. Whatever it takes to hold up. Just cause you physically trapped, they can never crack the heart of a soldier, nigga. We was raised by the trick and strive to get bigger in this game one day. Hoping success can ease the pain some way. If I could alleviate the weight on your shoulders and numb your pain till your beard is over. We was raised as young KGs. Never gave a fuck about society. Only out to stack fatty. All my robberies get no pity. Act shitty cause in the hood we trust and for the hood we bust. We was raised as young KGs. Never gave a fuck about society. Only out to stack fatty. All my robberies get no pity. Act shitty cause in the hood we trust and for the hood. To my organization I pray there be our separation. Through litigation, trials and tribulations. Interrogation never part my lips. And take the rap for any charge I get. It ain't no room in my heart to snitch. You been a soldier from day one. Yeah, I know who had the gun, but you went ahead and accepted conviction. I've been tripping, dog, since the arraignment. Know in my heart there's no type of repayment. Shit, your time spent behind the lines of penitentiary confinement. And state evidence had the jury blinded. For the life of me, can't understand how they can find the innocent man guilty. No chance of empathy from an all-white jury. We ain't shit to this district attorney. Until you come home, I'ma keep the split burning. Off the top, ain't no chance of me turning. And go be grinding from the block to my burning. You feel me, nigga? Check it, We was raised as young KGs. Never gave a fuck about society. Only out to stack fatty. On my robberies, get no pity. Act shitty cause in the hood we trust and for the hood we bust. We was raised as young KGs. Never gave a fuck about society. Only out to stack fatty. On my robberies, get no pity. Act shitty cause in the hood we trust and for the hood we bust. We was raised as young KGs. Never gave a fuck about society. Only out to stack fatty. On my robberies, get no pity. Act shitty cause in the hood we trust and for the hood we bust. We was raised as young KGs. We was raised as young KGs. We was raised as young KGs. Never gave a fuck about society. Only out to stack fatty. On my robberies, get no pity. Act shitty cause in the hood we trust and for the hood we bust. We was raised as young KGs.
This one right here is for my real kill gang niggas. Y'all know who y'all be.
Stack fatty on my robberies, show no pity. Act shitty for the hood we trust and for the hood we bust. We was raised as young KGs. What? Check it. We was raised as young KGs.
Man, oh man. What does it sound like hearing yourself again, man? Because I know you ain't heard none of these tracks in a while, even though these are your own tunes. I dug them out the crates again. Being the investigative journalist that I am, you know I love to shock and awe whatever or whoever my guest is. I like to just go back and just dig in some things and pull it out and, you know, hear what they like to say. What'd you think about that, True? That song in particular, that's one of my classics and favorite songs of yours of all time.
Right, yeah, I got my kids sitting there looking like, Dad, is that you? They ain't never heard this, so yeah, it's definitely a trip down memory lane, bro.
Facts. Like, what do you think about when you made that song right there in particular? That one was deep.
My boy is my best friend, one of my closest road dogs. He's still down. He's been in Pelican Bay for, it's going on almost 18 years now. So, you know, it just bring back memories. Still writing letters, still sending money. You know, still being supportive.
So the track wasn't just for show or just to put out there and make it sound good. You really was living those raps and still are at this day in 2021.
Well, I mean, I think life done changed drastically. Hopefully nobody is in the same position they was 15 years ago, mentally, physically, emotionally. You know, hopefully maturity set in and you know, you're in a better position 15 years later. Fortunately for me, like I said, my younger kids don't know anything about that side of my life. conscious change, a conscious decision.
Facts. And I don't think a lot of our followers and fans, as well as listeners back in the day from True and G, even knew that side of you because we didn't even highlight any of the music. Even on my side, I never talk about the music side because I don't know if it's just me and I don't want to kill all those who have dreams, but for me, once I reached a certain age and I saw the transition, especially from the transitions from Drake and from us, from where we was at, and then the Drake era, it definitely left no room for us to be us. It definitely sizzled out, and the internet took off because now all the people that was individuals became part of everybody, and everybody became somebody putting it out there to where it became cluttered, and it was really no room for the type of music that we were spitting at that time to transition over. That song right there, my friend, was deep. But now this is the part, True, you know, where I just talk about some of the news that I chose out of the week to discuss. You down to go over some of this?
Yeah, let's make it happen.
For sure. All right, family. This time, we are definitely tuned in for a lot that happened in regards to this week. So, you know how we get into this.
G's News.
G's News. And this, G's News Report.
West Radio. You know, I was just said earlier in the show that women cheat differently from men. So, you know, a lot of times a woman is looking at what she's missing intimate-wise. You know what I mean? So she's going to somebody that want to cuddle and
Oh, you know what? I thought that was you talking. That was a clip. It sounds just like you, so I wasn't able to tell. Like, what the fuck? What's going on there? Are you with me, True?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay, yeah. So we're in G's News anyhow. I don't know what the hell happened right there. It was like, damn, True talking to Miseducation? What the hell? But then I forgot. That was a clip. Anyhow, in G's News, we have some sad news to report. Actually, in Detroit, a 5-year-old boy was fatally shot by his 18-month-old cousin, playing with the now deceased father's handgun around 9:30 a.m. this Wednesday morning. The 27-year-old man was taken into custody, and pretty much that's that. That's a sad story. True. What do you get when you hear that type of story? That's because you're a parent.
Irresponsible. Yeah, definitely irresponsible. You know, if you have weapons that's you know, protection in your household, you got to be responsible, especially around kids.
Got you. So what about those that say, like me, I have a few weapons in the home. I like to have them where I can reach them, right in my area. So either I sleep with them, walk with them, or they're in my area, either by my bed, and I keep them right there for quick protection. So I have to ask you, for those that love guns and really use those for protection, how do you avoid those type of errors and accidents from happening?
Education. You know, I think, you know, especially within our communities, black communities, usually our communities hold the toughest gun laws. You know, the states with the highest black populations hold the highest or the toughest gun laws. But education, guns don't kill people. You know, people kill people.
Facts.
And the reality is, if you don't teach your kids from day one, you know, that this isn't a toy, then they get curious and they do things that you haven't discussed with them. You know, my weapons are left out openly, too. I have multiple weapons. And my kids understand, you know, that they're not toys. I even go as far as, you know, teaching them how to break it down, how to clean it, how to, you know, because the more they know, the less curious they are about it.
Gotcha. So, like, say for instance, for those, because this is a sad story and we all can learn from this, and there really is no but playing devil's advocate, how could I say if somebody was to break into my house and I'm leaving my gun right there and I'm able to get it real quick, and that's the reason why it's out, but at the same time I have little ones around to where I might be asleep, dozed off, 2 a.m., and they come in the room and pick it up. Should I lock it up in the case and take the chance of the bad guy coming into the house, taking everything, or leave it out, take the chances of my child or some young one in the home accidentally hurting themselves before I can protect the home?
Right, and I think it's a little bit of both. It's a lot of different precautions that you can take, especially if you're dealing with either or handguns or rifles. Most rifles have safeties. Most handguns have safeties, and the ones that don't simply don't put one in the brain. It leaves you still a little bit vulnerable, but it's not as bad as not having it available at all. Use those safeties. Use the devices that are meant to protect you and protect your kids. You know what I mean? But if you keeping a loaded burner, a loaded firearm on your dining room table while you sleep, it's not the smartest place for it.
No, that's a fact, and it almost desensitizes the child to where they see it so much they just get used to it and feel like, okay, it's nothing, and then bow, it's over. So,
well, we growing up, that word right there, being desensitized. I mean, most of the kids in this generation, not just the music, but what we see on TV, the video games. And I'm not blaming anybody because we had that growing up as well. But just going back to that family structure that we spoke about in some of our earlier shows, we don't have that generational knowledge being passed down to our kids anymore. Grandmama is 30 years old. Mama's, 25. It's only 10 years or 15 years of information between, the generations. So common sense went out the door with this new era, this new millennium.
Common sense ain't common sense for everybody, and sense don't make sense to nobody at all anymore. So really, in the millennium, nothing matters unless you matter, and so everybody's about individuality. So who cares about somebody? You feel me? Now, with that being said, man, sad story. Man, hopefully we can do better and find another way. And I don't want to go too deep into who he was. Just the incident itself definitely needs to be looked at and dealt with more caution, because can't get that back. Once a person's gone, they're gone. And time, like I said, reveals all things in the end. So, up next, sad news. So let's go ahead and move on to something a little bit more culture. We have Donald Trump has finally been put out of the office. Some call it the White House, as Joe Biden was sworn in as the 46th president by Chief Justice John Roberts, January 20th, this Wednesday. But I have to ask, is Trump playing the black card? Because if we take a dive and look in here, there are reports on Donald Trump's pardon list. I'm not too sure if it's accurate, so I do want to just go off of the reports, because there are other news sources that are reporting this as well. But it does appear the most hated and only orange president to this day may have just saved his gangster image with the hip-hop culture. True. Have you heard that Donald Trump has possibly pardoned Harry O, Lil Wayne?
Yeah, that's confirmed. Right.
Kodak Black. How about this person? Desi Perez. She's an associate with Jay-Z and Rockefeller.
Right. Neil's manager.
Correct. Is all of this confirmed, do you say? And see, I'm a news guy, I'm a journalist. I definitely go through the sources and I only report what I can confirm. And because there's so many reports confirming this, me personally, I just can't fathom the connection between Kodak Black and Donald Trump. Is that real?
Money. Yeah, money. You know, money and Kodak Black might not be in that tax bracket, but I'm sure there's somebody at his record label that's seeing that because he's behind jail, behind bars, he's unable to make new music, though, you know, that's up to par to where they can market and really make money off of, you know. And not only that, I you know, I don't have a political party one way or the other. I think both of them are complicit in where we are as a community, with our own help as well. But money, man, money kind of removes biasness that people might feel without it. You know, money puts political parties or political affiliation, gang affiliations, religious beliefs, all of that set to the side when it's a common denominator in money.
Let me ask you
all
this.
Those people you named have money.
Let me ask you this, because a lot of them do have money, so then a lot of them do have influence as well. But there's also a person who has influence who was not named on that list. Big Meech. Why do you think Big Meech wasn't pardoned and his brother was pardoned?
I think Big Meech more or less has
or not. Let me clarify. Not his brother being pardoned, just released. Clarification.
Big Meech has more control over this generation's ear. Everybody was more, you know, kind of infatuated with his lifestyle. You know, he became that modern day, you know, hero to a lot of these kids. Even you know, being able to connect the bridge between two generations, between our generation, where, you know, being that dope boy was the highlight, to this generation, to where, you know, being that drug addict, you know, actually using the product. So he was that bridge between the two. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. So does he? I mean, so he holds more, and I'm not saying he holds more weight than his brother, but is he more of a liability if he's released to?
I think so, in their eyes. Definitely, bro. Yeah. Definitely in their eyes. It's just the same as, you know, Maumo Abu Jamal, you know, the brother in Pennsylvania. Mm-hmm. You know, and a lot of this young generation might not know who he is, but think if he was released in the early 80s, or, you know, at the birth of hip-hop, how much influence he would have had, you know, over the mind state of people. Whenever you have somebody, whether good or bad, talking about black independence, being self-sufficient, you know, you can own your own, you can be your own boss. That's a voice that you want to silence because of, you know, the ideas he might incite, the fires he might light.
Do you think that if Meech was to get pardoned or just released on some kind of early by chance, lucky Joe Golly, something happening, would he be changed, or would he go back? And we're not speaking for him, just hypothetically looking to the future. Would he change, or do you think that it would continue on the way it did?
I don't think nobody has a crystal ball to really say what a man holds in his heart. And that's why the justice system is so flawed, because they're looking at punishment instead of really individualizing what people need to be, you know, somewhat successful or even, you know, sustainable in society. If you give everybody the punishment, everybody the same, you know, same punishment, you know, it doesn't help anybody. So I couldn't tell you one way or the other because I don't know that man's part.
Hey, that was a great response. And you see, me personally, I know if I asked a lot of other people that they would have slipped up and spoke for him, but you didn't. Show me why you are true. And I think he showed the world why you true, because none of this, he knows nothing of what I'm going to ask him. I don't even know what I'm going to ask him for the most part, but at the same time, he definitely answered it the way a true person is supposed to answer that. So much love, my G, although I am G. So let's go into this. The U.S. Sun reports Twitter has suspended Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei after he vowed revenge on Donald Trump with a picture showing a drone about to attack him on the golf course for ordering the drone strike on the Iranian general Qasem Soleimani during the Trump administration. Now, I want you guys to take a look, for those that's actually watching this on the live stream, look at that photo right there. True, you probably can't see this right now, but there's a photo right now of a drone of Donald Trump golfing. How the hell did he get a drone to operate over here? Not unless he has somebody over here already operating a drone, flying over wherever he's at, which obviously is somewhere in Washington at this time. So, how safe are we? If he can do that, then again, not just how safe are we, how fucking protective are we of our individual liberties of just not being spied on? Because if he can do that, imagine what NSA and all those other alphabet boys, I don't really like to say names because of these algorithms, but if they could do that, how are they looking at us?
I think the bigger question is how the fuck are they able to access Twitter without no motherfucking problems in Iran? Because, I mean, I know I'll be in certain places in Arizona and California, and I ain't get no fucking signal. So I think that should be the first question. How the hell they get better signals than what we do over in this motherfucker?
Facts.
And then, two, you know what I mean, I think, you know, Trump been sleeping with the enemy anyway. That's what you get when you get a mail-order bride. You know what I mean? That bitch ain't loyal to you.
Facts. Facts. Now, that's definitely crazy. That's definitely crazy. Man. So, because this is G's News, there was some news that me personally I have. I want to ask you, is there a clip that you would say made your news of all time? I know there was a lot of people that called in and said stupid shit. Some of our guests probably went back and forth. But is there a time that you ever had when somebody ever kind of got under your skin a little bit, or you had to keep your cool and maintain yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I think both on our show and, you know, off the air, we all done come across, but something that's been recorded, it'll have to be the show with your boy, man. I know you got it queued up already. Go to play the Mind Over Matter clip, man.
Oh, man, man.
I think that was the clip, man. That was the one right there where I had to show a bigger restraint. You know what I mean? Let that brother air out his frustration.
No, most definitely. That was one of my all-time favorite guests just because of his views, the way he speaks, and some of the shit that he say. You know, it definitely provokes thought and definitely can spark fire in somebody's ass, whoever he's talking to. And when we was on that show, I was listening to him, and when I heard him say some shit, I said, oh, damn, I know true. I know how that man think. He ain't regular like that. And at the same time, you know, Mind Over Matter was a guest, and, you know, he's from the woods and, you know, doing his thing off the grid. And so I said, oh, wow, these two clashing, oh, man, great for entertainment. And you kept your cool, you know what I mean? You surprised me, and I said, damn, he handled it like a real journalist. And this is a motherfucking artist. So, with that being said, let's get into this.
And I even heard one instance of a picture of L. Ron Hubbard being hung in some moss I asked the brother about that. He claimed it wasn't, but, I mean, I also asked, is there any pictures of Marcus Garvey hung up over there? And I heard a negative on that. So, you know.
Definitely. And that was, since you brought up Marcus Garvey, that kind of, brought me to my next question. I see that you brothers, just reading a lot of the different quotes, I see that you guys kind of put him up, as somebody that should be respected in our movement. And us trying to bring, us as a whole, as a people, take us to a different level. How do you feel about Marcus Garvey? Is he a Negro peon or a coon?
Man, Mark, I'd have to punch you in the face for even asking that.
Well, I mean, the reason why I asked that, right? The reason why I asked that is because 1922, Marcus Garvey went to Atlanta for a conference with the KKK Imperial Grand Dragon at the time, Edward Young.
Indeed.
According to Marcus Garvey, he said KKK is better friends to Negroes than any other group of hypocritical civil rights movements.
What do you let me get that up there. What do you think about that one? What do you think about that one? That was something that was happening live on the air, and I definitely felt the tension. I don't know if it was so much from him, but I definitely said from you, oh damn, let's see if this go left. And you kept your calm, maintained posture, and he actually went on, and it just made for a great interview. What was you feeling at that time?
Yeah, I think that was the beginning stages of growth, man, seeing something that not allowing personal feelings to get in the way, and being able to really just let shit slide, you know what I mean? And I know, it wasn't necessarily directed towards me. It was more or less, again, that brother has a way of words. But it was definitely a sign of growth. And I think if we were probably in person, it probably would have went different. But, definitely a milestone.
No, yeah, I'm glad you guys wasn't in person, and it definitely was what it was because, I can imagine him. I know you. You guys are both alpha males and two lions, whether you're a lion and he's a tiger or you're the gorilla and he's the elephant. I know it definitely would have went a different way, and I'm glad it just didn't happen. Besides that, man, was there any other times that you had that you felt any kind of way about somebody, a guest caller, me?
Well, I mean, I think everybody has to go through that stage to where, you're gonna hear some things that you don't like in life, and it's definitely multiple ways you can deal with things. To me, I think that whole show process was a milestone to get me out of my comfort zone and start seeing things a little bit different, allowing new information in and filtering, new shit out.
Definitely was a learning experience. So this right here is where you guys go ahead, grab your blunts again. Me personally, Woods, light them up, drink, because we're about to play another one of those classics. Like I said, my man said he got growth, so he definitely had to get some get right, which for him is act right.
One of them niggas that no charcoal beef, I let it speak for itself. I'm bad for business, but more or less a hazard to help. I can see you little niggas need help, cause you're running around lost. Never been soldiers, what you wanna be boss. Slow down, little homie, gotta crawl for your walk. Learn the rules to the game before you getting involved. I got your back, little nigga, I'm a real ass G. You wanna ride on these bitch ass niggas, call me. I approach the streets with a KG philosophy. Put your road dog to sleep, immunity so is deep. I ain't get much out of school, but I learned about beef. Homeroom with the two, cause it's filled with enemies. You do the math, 10 in the clip and 1 in the brain. Any nigga running his lip is getting it, man. What you lack in the game is your guidance ain't tight. I'ma show you little niggas how to get some max right.
Ain't no OTs, no OTs. Everybody playing seats, but they ain't trying to help them, trying to help. Little homies out of pocket, acting faulty, they don't know. They get your trap tight, little nigga, get some act right. Act right, act right, some act right, act right, act right, act right, some act right, act right, act right, act right, some act right. Hey, you little niggas better get some act right.
Big Nutty took me in and showed me what's what. Taught me how to hold the pistol without blowing off my nuts. I'm a KG, baby, third generation G. You want a problem? You ain't gotta look for it, just find me. Life told me spare the nigga house, catch him in the streets. Cause kids is vegetarians, ain't involved in the beef. Need to throw away burner, so I call my nigga Ski. Delivered the gas field personally, prepared for the heat. I ain't scared, I'm out here on the hunt all alone. I don't hide behind the hood, raised to stand on my own. Put the pistol in the bag, dump and take the shells home. Lace his ass with a toe tag, cause that nigga gone. Jay Joker told me that it's a cold, hard life. Ain't no medals in the hood, these scars is all striped. With you lack in the game is your hustle ain't tight. I'ma show you little niggas how to get some max right.
Ain't no OTs, no OTs. Everybody playing seats, but they ain't trying to help them, trying to help. Little homies out of pocket, acting faulty, they don't know. They get your trap tight, little nigga, get some act right. Act right, act right, some act right, act right, act right, act right, some act right, act right, act right, get some act right. Hey, you little niggas better get some act right.
Any punk can get paper, but will he have the heart to ride? Will he hold it down when death is looking his ass in the eye? It's the respect that matter. Don't let these motherfuckers lie and tell you money can get you anywhere. That's why these ballers die. Put a price on your head and place a ribbon in the sky. Like Scarface said, I done seen a man cry. I'm just looking for the bread. You can keep your reply. If you can deal with being tortured, nigga, I got the time. I was bred cold hearted, pay your screams, no mind. I'm here to collect with your own. Make sure you pay every dime. That's my role. Never been the shot caller on the block, but I'm a soldier that they call to come and knock off your block. Skip the order of operation. That's why you got caught. Keep the work under the hood, so I don't worry about the cops. If you wanna reach the top, gotta get your trap tight. Let me show you little niggas how to get your act right.
Ain't no OTs, no OTs. Everybody playing seats, but they ain't trying to help them, trying to help. Little homies out of pocket, acting faulty, they don't know. They get your trap tight, little nigga, get some act right. Act right, act right, some act right, act right, act right, act right, some act right, act right, act right, act right, some act right. Hey, you little niggas better get some act right.
Yeah, y'all better get some act right. If y'all still tuned in, y'all logged on with me, whether you're on those streaming platforms or you're live streaming with me on the YouTube G's Mystery Show, Our World Revealed. We're definitely revealing some things at the same time, kicking back, having an uncensored show since that's what they wanted. I already got a strike. Strike me. They're going to learn messing with True and G. And now G from G's Mystery Show. I don't take too lightly to those things, and at the same time, it doesn't matter to me because everything is what it is. I enjoy the platform. I love it. But, man, y'all let a lot of shit fly. Y'all let motherfuckers say niggas, bitches, all type of prejudice type shit. Fuck the racist shit. The prejudice type shit is what y'all should be banning, but y'all let it go. Y'all let this side go against that side. Y'all show killing, and I can't even say the C word. And for those of you that don't know what C word I'm talking about the zombie apocalypse. I'll let you put those together because that algorithm, they almost take worse than the words of Osama bin Laden. And that's crazy. But hey, you can say nigga all day, and if you're other people, you could probably say nigger and just get a bleep, and they'll probably just say, hey man, cut it out. But look, saying the C word around here, they ain't playing around. So, back to that. True. You with me?
I'm with you, bro.
Man, I had to just go off on a rant, man, because I just got initiated into these YouTube streets with a strike for talking some real shit, you know? And I guess they don't want that, so we're going to give them some real True and G shit the way we used to. So, this episode is 2020 Revisited. True. Is there a favorite segment that you could recall or remember that we used to play?
Yeah, man, we used to play that Call It Like It Is.
You know.
That's it.
You know, about Call It Like It Is, there's one person I never got, ever. Can you think of who that is?
Who that?
That's you, my friend. That's you. It's your turn.
Right.
I want to ask you, because you got away for a lot of years, but not today. We want to hear your thoughts, and I think it's time.
And it's time for Call It Like It Is. Are you ready to play?
All right, so let's make it happen then.
Turn down no phase. Let's make it happen.
Turn down no phase. Let's get it. So you want it in the bathroom one-on-one, or you want to go out in the alley like old school and just duke it out? How you want it?
All right, shit. With just in the blinds. It don't matter. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It don't matter as long as the people don't see it.
Okay, that's how it go down. No names. What we do behind closed doors. If we shake it out, we don't. If we do, they'll never know. We just come out and we'll never talk about it. But since this is called Like It Is, we're going to talk about this. And before we get into this call Like It Is, especially because this is dedicated for all those, especially in 2020, who didn't get to transition on and make it out to see another year, especially 2020. This Call It Like It is dedicated to you all out there. And so I actually put this piece together. Nothing special, but just something for those out there to just sit back, relax, and just think about how time moves so fast. And those that you watched, you would never think that they would go. And when they go, you then begin to mark your own time and realize it's coming. And with that, for those that have transitioned on, I present to you.
Cap Johnson, Ken Rogers, Tiny Zeus Lister, I'm Pointer, Chad Bolson, Brian Tittle, Roy Moore, Little Richard, Carrie Still, Fred Wilson, John Lewis, Regis Phil, Earl Kane, Gail Sanders, Eddie Van Halen, Sean Connor, Alex Trebek, Harley Pride, Danny DeWolf, and the one and only Kobe Black Mamba Bryant.
And it's time for Call It Like It Is. Are you ready to play?
Man, sad, but also your beat coming in livened it up, which was supposed to keep it sad. At the same time, you all get the picture, man. We lost a lot of loved ones, and those that we, I won't say idolize, but we definitely consider to be heroes. And especially if you was a movie watcher, a TV show, series, enthusiast, you definitely saw a lot of great people in our time, whether they were what you call black, white, Asian, Hispanic. Definitely humans and humanity should show that those people definitely deserve a great welcome into the transition of the knowns but unknowns of what we call the afterlife. Respect. Now, with that being said, True, you know how I do. Doesn't matter. Anybody can get it. So, because I didn't put any of the rappers in there, I definitely have to ask you, a former artist and somebody who's deep, if you could bring back just one deceased rapper from 2020, who would it be?
That's a hard one, bro, to be honest with you. Because I really don't listen to these millennial rappers, so it wouldn't be based off of their body of work. It'll probably be more based off of just identifying with somebody that looked like me. You know what I mean?
Okay, so who would that be by name? You gave us an analogy of the description, but let's put a name to that description.
I mean, I would have to go back to 19 and say Nipsey. You know what I mean?
Well, Nipsey doesn't count. Nipsey doesn't count. You can't do Nipsey. Nipsey does not count.
Okay.
This is 2020, and we're respecting those who transitioned on to 2020. But this is True and G, so I need somebody from 2020. Nipsey is obvious, but we not gonna be biased here. Forget the Cali ties,
right?
Yes, sir.
Artists, I would have to say, I gotta say Kobe. Kobe was an artist, man, not just on the basketball court, but
I love Kobe. I love Kobe.
Right.
I love Kobe. But please do not make me lose everybody that would follow me by talking about Kobe's album, bro. Respect to the loved one, my G. Don't do that to me. We're going to exclude all basketball players. And then anybody that got the shout out, hold on, whoever got the shout out on the clip, we're going to exclude them. So Kobe was the last one. He got the best introduction. He doesn't count. His album was what it was. Appreciate you. Nah, hey, we ain't going to do that. We ain't going to do that. Love you, my G. Just transition well. Okay, so now, if you could bring back one deceased rapper from 2020, who would it be?
That's a hard one, bro. I would probably have to say Juice WRLD. And just because, and it's not even for his body of work, I think he died more out of fear than something that he did. You know what I mean? Like, he seemed like he was a good kid. You know what I mean? Had a drug problem, but he seemed like he you know.
Most of them do have a drug problem. He definitely seemed like a good kid, and I'm going to be honest with you. My girl definitely turned me on to Juice WRLD. She played his song like every damn day, and I used to be like, damn, this dude cannot rap for shit. So, Kobe, you ain't the only one who people is out here slandering. Juice WRLD, I was like, man, this nigga can't rap. And then all of a sudden, it started to catch. And I remember back in the days listening to Soulja Boy, like, that shit garbage. And then that shit started to catch. But this Juice WRLD shit, when she started to play other songs, I was like, man, this dude is weirdly deep. You know what I mean? He's into some lucid dreaming type, real high and just on some freaky missing his girl type shit and just trying to stun on her now and but looking at mushrooms and shit because he off of acid or whatever he was on. I like that.
I think the pain was authentic. You know, the raw emotion in his music. And again, I wasn't a big fan. I probably couldn't tell you as far as musically go, but just seeing he died, you know, swallowing some pills, you know, more out of fear of going to jail, you know what I mean? Then I don't know, you know what I mean? Again, this generation of music is not really my cup of tea, so
Gotcha. Now, no, not leaving out no disrespect to all the other deceased rappers out there, but this is called Like It Is. So if your name wasn't mentioned, then I guess your name just wasn't mentioned. So much love to all of you out there that have passed on, to the family out there who have those who have passed on. Respect. So now, true, 2020 was a sneaky year that will go down in history as probably the only time where the world has actually stood still. So, if you can give me a drug comparison to something similar to what we call the C word, aka zombie apocalypse, would it be A, marijuana, B, crack, C, meth, D, heroin, or E, raw sex?
I would say probably heroin, bro. It just seemed like this whole year everybody been not, you know what I mean, like on a strong nod, just stuck and still, not really tipping over, but leaning like a motherfucker, you know what I mean?
I definitely feel you. So you say heroin is COVID. You would put heroin and COVID together.
Right.
I like that. That's deep, but it's definitely raw and it's straight there. It's like tap right there, and you just hook. So let me say this, true, or not say. Let me just ask you. Me and you are the exact same age, born in the late 70s. If you was Father Time, what decade would you replace 2020 with? Would it be the 60s to the 70s, 70s to the 80s, 80s to the 90s, or 90s to the 2000s? So you have 2000s to 2021. We're just going to just sum that all up, but then we're going to either replace it with the decades of the 60s, 70s, 70s to 80s, or 80s to 90s, or 90s to the first 2000s.
I would say the 90s, bro. I think the 90s we kind of we kind of revisited that black is beautiful, that black is proud from the 60s, and remember the early 90s, we were still into the medallions, and you had the X Clans, and you had a lot more positive music that it was more of a variety. Rap wasn't just it had a lot of different genres in it in the early 90s. You know what I mean?
So
everybody wasn't on the same thing.
Let me separate it then, and let me even dive into that answer even deeper. Let's separate the early 90s to the late 90s. Now, what part or era?
I would say the 80s.
No, not the 80s. Sticking in the 90s. You said the 90s. So now I'm saying let's break up the 90s in a half. So from 1990 to 1995, that's one half, and 95 through 2000. Now let's say what era?
I mean, personally, I would probably get rid of the 90s was a difficult one for me because I spent all of my 90s in California Youth Authority. So, but just before I went away in the early 90s, I would say that I would replace it with the early 90s, definitely replace it with the early 90s.
So the early
everybody
90s
wasn't into you had different categories of people. You had gangbangers, you had housers, you had a lot of different groups of people that coexisted with each other in the early 90s within our community. You know what I mean?
I could dig it. So you talking about when niggas was wearing the medallions and the big African signs, and they had the fanny packs, biker shorts. What the new school don't know is that we was probably wearing tight stuff back then in the early or the late 80s, early 90s, and then it transitioned on to the baggy fits. But that's the era you're talking about, with when De La Soul was out and everybody was just feeling that and you smelling weed in the house, like, who the fuck is burning incense, not knowing that that's weed. Right. You talking about that era. I could dig it. Dig it. So I mean, the 2000s. What about 2000s that you think changed?
What about 2000s changed? Like, kind of.
Yes, sir.
I think the difference is, again, we dropped the ball. Like the 90s, we still had older heads kind of guiding us. You know, early 2000s, you know, a lot of us became adults, and instead of putting back into the communities we came from, we chose to leave these youngins to raise themselves. I think that's the difference, is a lack of leadership. The baton wasn't passed to capable hands.
Most definitely. Do you think that it was some of the influence of our songs as well? You know, some of the stuff that we were talking and the youngsters picked up and they went like 20 times harder than what we did, making those type of songs and music?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and just the you know, the realizing that we didn't have to stay in the neighborhood to be, you know, something. I think our generation kind of spread its wings. You know, we took, but we never put back. You know what I mean? Like, we never recycled what we got. We never put back into the area. You know what I mean? And that's where the baton fell at. The 90s, we still had that OG presence, that old head presence, somebody that cared enough about you, whether you were doing good or bad, to teach you how to do it the right way. You know what I mean?
Most definitely. So now, speaking on that, let's go ahead. I want to light this Swisser, or is that a wood over there? I'm not sure, but we're going to get to it. We're going to take a music break, and we're going to get into some of that you were just talking about, some of that hustling.
West Radio.
I see my niggas been fiending for some real street shit. So I grabbed the pot and drink another street hit. Hit the block with a coda piece, flip that into a zip. White tent like mashed potatoes, bring back a bag of chips. All I think about is paper, nigga, eat, sleep, shit. Different ways to get money, nigga, trying to reach rich. Started off in the hood until the block got crowded. Took my show on the road and showed bro I was doubted. Pieced up with life and snatched up a 9-pack of powder out in Riverside. Making 500 every hour. When started off as nickels and dimes, became $1 million spot. Got it going crazy, serving dubs the size of car drops. Placed the bars on the window, kept the front door locked. Battery acid in the bathroom, fuck getting caught. Now that's hustling, and I can see these people got their eyes on me. Battery acid in the bathroom, fuck getting caught. Now that's hustling. It's all about the paper, got my eyes on the cream. I represent the only color that matters. That's hustling, and I can see these people got their eyes on me. Never will I tell, never settle with the police. It's all about the paper, got my eyes on the cream. I represent the only color that matters. Them scandalous motherfuckers that prey on simps. Came up early in the game for robbing gangsters and pimps. Caught my first sack from Dublin, I've been hustling since. Camped out on the block without a cot or a tent. I never tripped off a broad, I wasn't stunting a bit. Since love couldn't make $1, dog, it didn't make sense. Pull another 24 wearing the same black khakis. Keep the work in the cut, cause now they fingerprint back. Put a bitch down the street to keep her eyes on the stage. So to turn me on the hit when them people about to raid. It's a cold ass world and my heat ain't been paid. So I called my white girl and had her blow another fade. See, it's all about the money, give a fuck cards laid, nigga, it's my time to shine, and I'ma stay sharp as a blade. That's hustling. And I can see these people got their eyes on me. Nigga, it's my time to shine, and I'ma stay sharp as a blade. That's hustling. It's all about the paper, got my eyes on the cream. I represent the only color that matter, that's hustling. And I can see these people got their eyes on me. Never will I tell, never settle with the police. It's all about the paper, got my eyes on the cream. I represent the only color that matter, that's hustling. Block on lock, filling they pipes to the rim. Stop playing, I'm hustling until my lights go dim. Nigga, I fucks with essays, buy my work from them. Only cops off, yay, and weed purple to the stem. I am what I am, a product of what made me. Yeah, mama gay birth, but Gilbert Street raised me. Shots out, a bullet to them bitch niggas that hate me. My motto's fuck love, get paid to God take me. That's hustling. I can see these people got their eyes on me. My motto's fuck love, get paid to God take me. That's hustling. It's all about the paper, got my eyes on the cream. I represent the only color that matter, that's clean. And I can see these people got their eyes on me. Never will I tell, never settle with the police. It's all about the paper, got my eyes on the cream. I represent the only color that matter, that's hustling.
Yo, my man's is dope. I mean, dope. Super dope. I mean, man, I don't know if I'm old, out of place just by saying the words dope. Any youngsters out there, does dope sound old to you? What's the word out there that y'all say? Hip? Nah, that's too old. Cool, that's just played out. Rad, that's the other side. Man, my nigga the shit. That's universal. My nigga the shit. I give it to you, man. What about, where were you at when you was making that song, True? Hustling. Don't incriminate yourself.
I was, I was in a selfish place, bro. A little bit lost, a little bit thinking that changing my financial situation was going to change my life. Shit, wanted something better, bro, figuring that, you know, I had a talent. And, you know, we all kind of thought that the music was going to pay off.
Facts.
All honesty, though, I think that right there is kind of the root of where we are today, because everything is about money. You know what I mean? The morals of life don't went out the window as long as I got money. It's like, fuck everything else as long as we get money. You know? And that's part of where the baton dropped. That right there. You know?
I mean, you giving me
I kind of low-key feel embarrassed.
Hey, nah, you ain't embarrassed, bro. Let me tell you what you're doing for me, man. You almost making me, with your permission, I want to write a book and just write down some of the notes off of your life cliffhangers and kind of make it into a book, change around some of the names, fictional and all that other stuff, you know. And then, you know, put it out there, you know, because you definitely have a journey. And that's why you made for a good person to talk about 2020 Revisited. So, with that being said, man, let me ask you, did you vote?
I did this year. I did.
Okay.
The funny thing is I voted for Mind Over Matters candidate. I wrote in Marcus Garvey.
Ah, so you voted for Marcus Garvey this time, huh?
Right.
Okay.
I think that, and this is the first year that I voted too, so I just felt like, you know, even though we both know, you know, anybody that represents black economics is not going to be in the White House. But just exercising that right, saying, okay, I participated. Even though I didn't vote for either candidate, I did participate.
Okay, so do you want to disclose who you participated for, or that's none of my motherfucking business?
Yeah, I wrote it. No, I wrote in Marcus Garvey. I wrote in Marcus Garvey for president.
So you wasn't joking. You really wrote that shit in that ballot.
I really wrote in Marcus Garvey for president. And you know what's crazy is I sat there and I answered all the phone calls from the different parties, and I asked them all the same thing, like, you know, what is your candidate doing for black people? In all honesty, you know, I see I hear what you're saying. You know, we all smart enough to be able to do our research and see, you know, who did what 20 years ago, 30 years ago. You know, I have family members telling me that I should vote for you know, for Biden. A lot of people forgot that Biden and Clinton created these laws that locked us up.
Facts.
You know, if Reagan was guilty of allowing crack to come into our communities, you know, Biden and Clinton was guilty of actually prosecuting us when we needed help. You know, and a lot of people are saying that now that they have a issue, you know, now that their kids is going through the same shit that we went through, all of a sudden, you know, the punishment of holding same amount of narcotics is going away. Now it's treatment again.
No, that's a fact.
I can vote for either one of them.
No, that's a fact. Now that narcotics or the pain pills, the methamphetamines, and those type of drugs are hitting them, now they want to act. And again, this isn't about black and white thing. This is about a reality thing. Is that now that it's hitting home, they're reacting and really being proactive to try to fight against that. But when it was our forefathers and me actually right there in the home, you know, the crack era, it wasn't shit but some commercials and a black t-shirt with some red writing on it that said, "Dare to keep kids off of drugs." That was it. That was it.
Just say no. Right.
How hard is that to do? It's not easy to say no.
A lot of us grew up watching, you know, people close to us go through that epidemic, you know what I mean? So I don't believe there was a lesser of two evils. Like, how can you vote for evil, period?
Facts.
You know, how can you acknowledge evil and vote for it? So, and I think even bigger, bro, that's what kind of make, you know, me more so worried. Like, what kind of leaders are we going to have 20, 30 years from now when we hitting that retirement age? You know, where are our kids at now to prepare them to be leaders in the future? Because we see where we were at, you know, and the people that are stepping up in this generation, we know what they were groomed as because we were there. But the process of critical thinking and forgetfulness, you know, people being able to rewrite their histories. Now all of a sudden, the same nigga that stood up on the Congress floor and told them, "I don't care if you got a drug problem. I know you need help, but because there's a possibility that you could rob my mother, I'd rather lock you up than seek treatment." That's our president, you know. So if a man's heart 20 years ago didn't care about niggas, what makes you think he care about us now?
You don't think people can change?
I believe change is possible. Again, that's been my whole, you know, but change comes through experiences. And, you know, it just seems like every 4 years, you know, when they need our votes, they start speaking on what they can do for us. And we get amnesia that after we get them elected, you know, we never get the other side of the promise. We never get, you know, what was promised to us.
Gotcha. Let's switch it up. Let me ask you this. Was there one polarizing moment that stood out in 2020 that you took notice of?
The riots earlier this year, the protests, whatever you want to call it, just seeing one group of people being allowed to hijack the struggle of another group of people and not really care about that group of people that they hijacked their struggle.
Gotcha.
You know, the fuckery in 2020 was so blatant and obvious, you know.
So you're talking about are you talking about the George Floyd? Black Lives Movement, all of that coming together.
Go, baby. Not so much that George Floyd, because George Floyd was that was something that was the fuel of frustration. So that's been there for years. But what I'm talking about is the aftermath. You know, we allowed, now mind you, these same neighborhoods that we patrol and we looking for the ops, we allow the outsiders to come into our communities and burn them down under the name of our struggle, you know. And again, I'm not for a political party one way or the other, but how can you have, you know, all like 75, 80% of people being arrested for Black Lives Matter? They don't look like us. They don't represent us, you know. And at the end of the protest, they went home back to their suburban areas and went to sleep. We lost places that we bought food in, restaurants that we patronized, corner stores of people that look like us or don't look like us.
Gotcha. Let me ask you this:
that's what I mean.
Did the George Floyd incident affect you in any way? Did it mess with your psychology, or was you already in a place to where that's normal, or nothing shocks you anymore?
It didn't shock me. I think the purpose of them showing it was, you know, more or less to incite and, you know, to make things better. You know, you play any man being murdered on TV. You know, it kind of, it sits different. It affects you different.
Let me interrupt now because hold that thought, because this is G's Mystery Show and we're talking about 2020 Revisited, and I'm always into the conspiracy, trying to resolve it a little bit and break it down into some kind of logical sense. Do you think that they showed it intentionally, or did whoever filmed that show it and put it up on the web and everybody started watching it, duplicating it, and it got around? I'm just playing the devil's advocate, not saying for either side. I'm unbiased, so I look at things from all angles before I make a sound judgment on something. Just how I work. So I just have to ask you true.
Beginning of the show. No, I feel that. In the beginning of the show, we acknowledge that somebody has the algorithm to control what's going out. You know, you might not be able to control what's being uploaded, but you definitely are able to control what's going out. And we know that the media in this country, like every other country, you know, they have a button to where they can hit the switch and shut everything off, you know. So by it being played on every site, I mean, now look for it, you know. Now try to Google the
it's hard to find. It's hard to find. It's definitely.
The first few weeks, it was everywhere.
But isn't that when it's most prevalent? When it's first out, everybody sees it. Clickbait hops on, duplicated, uploaded, try to make some money off of it, collect views, boom. Spreads, Facebook, all the social platforms from YouTube. Now it's all around. Parents talking about it, grandparents talking about it. Did you see that? And just now it's everywhere. Or can we blame all of that on the media? Old media, I should say.
Well, I mean, I'm not blaming. I'm not pointing the finger, because you got to take some responsibility, you know, within ourselves. We've been begging people to change something that we know is wrong for years. And until people start really policing themselves and saying, you know, the person that's hired to protect me is not more valuable than the people the subjects that you assign to protect. Until we start saying enough is enough by any means necessary, you know, it's going to happen until people start putting down their cameras and actually participating or taking action. You know, these things are going to continue to happen. So it being played or it being on repeat, you know, the first 2 weeks was more or less to play off of emotions, because after a couple of weeks, people are logical minds, calmer thoughts are able to prevail, and people are able to kind of regroup and strategize. But with raw emotion, everything is impulsive. You know what I mean?
So let me ask you this: what do you think sparked the Black Lives Movement to slash Antifa riots and chaos that was going on in 2020?
Opportunity.
From the communist marksmen or from just the people trying to come up,
go that deep.
or just some people just trying to come up on. Okay, so people trying to come up on some free shit like the riots back in the '90s, break some shit, do what they want to do.
Nah, I say, like, you know, if you have like a pimple, and you got all of this pus building up in the temple, it gets hard until you pop it. You release the pressure. You know what I mean? What we take as freedoms is really liberties. You know, liberties meaning I'm giving you two options to decide for. Freedoms meaning I have an unlimited opportunities and options that I can choose for myself. So when the liberties of this country starts to get disrupted, the pressure builds up. You have to release that pressure. 9/11, Sandy Hooks. You know, there's a lot of different events that happen to, and I'm not saying that they're staged or anything. I think it's just an opportunity to release pressure that this country has been built off of. It's always going to accumulate, but how do you release it? And they use these moments to try to galvanize the patriotism of this country. In reality, it's redirecting or controlling your liberties. It's saying, okay, we allow y'all to march, but then shortly after, we're going to restrict something else. And that's what 2020 has been about, bro. It's been about restriction. It's about showing that you don't have to actually be in prison to be in prison.
Gotcha.
We can lock you up mentally and emotionally and fuck with you just the same as if you was locked up physically.
Gotcha. So now that was your highlight of 2020, was more so the devastation that took place, you know, within this little movement, kind of centered around George Floyd and just the chaos, the psychology to social engineering, just the whole aspect of just the mental prepping that went on. But I'm going to tell you what was my highlight of 2020. You may not be able to see this right now, True, but the audience will. So this one is not for you. You'll watch it again. And because, man, I know you're going to die. So with that being said, this was my highlight of 2020. This is when I became aware of this. Not sure if it was actually in 2020, but this is the first time I seen this motherfucker. Real talk. Look at this. All right, True. Now, I don't know if you heard that little clip, but what you heard was there was an incident you probably saw or not. There was a stripper on a pole. Probably the pole was almost like 50 feet in the air. And one stripper came down smooth, done her little doody-dotty, and then came down cool. Other stripper went too damn high trying to high side and did almost like a front flip cartwheel into a half split. And them knees got battered. And then she popped back up and started twerking and flipping like nothing happened. Bones probably shattered, shock probably going on. And it was some of the funniest shit. Have you seen that clip? Oh, man. You're definitely going to get it. This was the most funniest shit. Because now it's slow-mo time. Now, for the audience that are seeing that, I know they have to be laughing, dying, or just being like, damn. Because if you look at it, there's a stripper that is actually right next to her when she falls, who is just looking at her. And she probably wants to help her. But because money was already thrown as part of the show, she probably seen some shit more worse than that. You know, I've never been to the strip club before in my life. You know me. I haven't. Have you?
No, I haven't seen that one.
No, I didn't ask you have you seen the fall. I said, have you ever been to a strip club?
Oh, yeah, multiple, bro, multiple. Not this year, unfortunately, though. 2020 was a bad year for me with the strip club.
You ever seen somebody fall from the strip club?
I think I have, but I really can't tell you for sure, to be honest with you. I'm pretty sure I have. I've seen a lot of funny shit in the strip club.
They get right back up and act like nothing happened again? Did they ever fall off the pole?
Gotta go on.
But have they ever fell off the pole?
I'm pretty sure I have, bro. Like I said, it's been, strip clubs is kind of a faint memory for me right now. Usually when I start paying attention to the little women in the strip clubs, I'm already a couple of drinks in. I'm not really into paying for fantasies, so yeah.
Now, watch when you watch that, you're going to be like, what the fuck? Now, let me ask you, True. Back when we were kids, whatever happened to the hoverboards and the flying spacecraft out there that we were supposed to be experiencing in the 2000s and 2020s and beyond? What happened?
Nigga, it never happened the way that it was in Back to the Future.
Not at all. I mean, what jolted us? What gave us a block in the road? Was there an incident, or because I mean it didn't happen with COVID, did it? Oops, did I say that?
Nah.
I said, please do not algorithm me, because they'll let me cuss, say all kind of shit. But once you say that, it's over. It's over.
It's been, yeah. I think I think for some reason they never released it to the public. Like, everything that as far as technology, we both know that the shit that's being released is probably produced 50 years ago. You know what I mean? And for whatever reason, they have a timeline on how they release technology to the world. But
maybe they don't release it really fully. Maybe they just release like the light version. They never ever give you the actual 100% full, ready to go, fuck a gun, you can just think the thought and the person zap the fuck out of here. They just giving you virtual reality right now, letting you look at the shit and just saying, oh wow, that looks cool. And they got some shit over here, which they do, make you shit on yourself, fucking eardrums bust, all kind of shit. Again, that's another show. So let me ask you this, True. Was 2020 really all that bad?
I mean, I guess it's just from the perspective you're looking at it, and you know what I mean. Is if you're looking at it from my perspective, I don't really feel 2020 was all that bad for me personally. But I do see, other people that might not be as in the same shoes that I'm in right now. So 2020 allowed me to spend a lot more time with my kids than what I probably have any other year. You know what I mean? Kind of helped me redefine my family values.
Most definitely. Now, we got about 20 more minutes left in the show. So for all you artists out there, comedians, entertainers, book writers, authors, philosophers, anybody out there with a story that feels it's important and they want to go one-on-one or dialogue with me or just get their stuff promoted, go ahead, send it in, log on to GsMysteryShow.com or go check me out on Instagram at G's News. You can also email me at GsMysteryShow@gmail.com. It is exactly how it sounds. No hyphen this time, just GeeSmysteryShow@gmail.com. If I have to spell that out for you, then that's what we call gumshoe, layman's, that's on the chessboard. For those of you that know about chess, that's what the background is about, not the whatever. We'll get into that and all the Masonic and Illuminati theorists out there want to dive in. We can dive into that, but that's another show. Now, True, I have to ask you, man, and before we go take this break, there was a song that you made back after an incident we had. I'm not sure the year. It was called The Truth. Do you recall?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. What was that song about?
That song, that a little issue we got into in Diamond Bar. We was performing at a little club, and yeah.
You don't have to give the location exactly. You know,
we it was in Diamond Bar, nigga. Let's get a location. Yeah. No, it got sticky though. That's one of those locations. We did a show in a place that we probably shouldn't have did a show at, and it turned real serious real quick.
Got you. And so, of course, you know, we got the mystery pound over here. You know, 5, he was actually in that event. You was in that event. But one thing I have to ask you, man, because you made a song about it. And because you made a song about it, you said a lot of names in there. A lot of names. What happened to my name?
Hey, it was actually a good thing that you wasn't in that song. I mean, that you stood solid on that one, bro. Like, you know, actually, everybody mentioned in that song either didn't fare too well.
Look, no, hold on. But I know where you put my name at, and I think you did it covertly. You see, there's a part in there where you say "Holy War," right?
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah, I did.
And I always said, how come this motherfucker didn't just say jihad? But he said holy war. And because I was an artist at the time, I was not even thinking that you was using a metaphor instead of saying jihad, which means, which means holy war. You said holy war. But then again, those people who hear holy war, they would never know that I'm jihad. You see? So,
I think music back then though was more you know, you was trying to be more creative even with your distance. You know, even when you were trying to put somebody on Front Street, you was really trying to be creative.
Gotcha.
Wordplay to take the time to switch certain things up.
Facts.
That made a lot of sense.
Nah, it definitely did, and because I was just speaking on that song, I definitely want to allow the audience to get a tune into what the hell was we just talking about. Well, you want to hear a true story?
West, nigga. Don Morocco, keep it West, nigga.
Keep it West Radio.
I'm tired of these niggas false flagging, I done heard enough. Claiming the fame like you're rowdy, time to call you bluff. Sly got niggas singing West Side, what's up? But with a burner in they face, they don't act so tough. I'm from the city, say the wrong set to get your hair bust. Brains painted on the street like the concrete was airbrushed. Niggas talk about shit that ain't meant to be discussed. These rappers faggot out here, they got the game fucked up. Heard lunch, give it up for every city in the E. But when the shit hit the fan, that nigga left instantly. First impression, the pussy nigga mean bitch to me. Talk all the killer shit you want, but it ain't no convincing me. Told props, it's a woe, you better be careful who you trust. Hope you separate the real from the fake when you got rushed. BD said it best, any nigga can get touched. Cause with a barrel to your neck, that vest don't mean much. This is for the bitch niggas.
See, I ain't worth my time, cause y'all straight out of line.
And this is for them fake killers.
So, homie, get your shit together, cause I'm down for whatever.
This nigga, you a studio gangster.
So, nigga, what up? Now I'm calling your bluff.
You ain't shit but a wannabe banger.
You ain't from no hood, so quit acting like it's all good.
Yeah, I can see off top that we cut from a different cloth. Don't saw too many G's for to let you bitch niggas off. Rick told me go hard, it's a contact sport. Pistol whip a nigga nowadays, he show up in coat. Look at you standing at the station filling out police reports. Then get mad when they drop the charge, as simple as so. Can't believe these snail niggas really wanna throw soul. Told your son daddy died, but the murder ain't your fault. Called the house, death is coming, nigga, get your dessert. What you prefer, rest in peace on a hat or a t-shirt. Name that little nigga nutty, fuck around and get hurt. Call his ass staff mark, cause he known for putting in work. Put a flag on the city, nigga, the empire's mine. Was banging bitch before they changed the code to 909. Anybody can get hit, get caught in the crossfire. Hannibal, tell her one more time what this is for the bitch niggas.
See, I ain't worth my time, cause y'all straight out of line.
And this is for them fake killers.
So, homie, get your shit together, cause I'm down for whatever.
This nigga, you a studio gangster.
So, nigga, what up? Now I'm
Malachi G for G. I connected with that nigga like from B to C. You got a problem with the homie Jinx, you beefing with me. And ain't no questions in the streets, dog, I'm eating whiskey. Bad luck, 5 and tie buff from CPT. K9, Holy Roll, my nigga New York P. What it do, J Joker, reppin' HLE. And Lenny Blaze from Air Nation is a straight OG. Can't forget my nigga Merc, hollin' BSG. And Andy's over there pushing GSG. Shots out to Rick Smith for doing the cover for cheap. Can't forget Dollar Bill and Boski from the Z's. Before the Glock got signed, I was happy as fuck. A real nigga from the E that finally got picked up. And for the rest of you niggas, I'm throwing bullets for bucks. Hannibal, tell these fools what's up. And this is for the bitch niggas.
See, I ain't worth my time, cause y'all straight out of line.
And this is for them fake killers.
So, homie, get your shit together, cause I'm down for whatever.
Cause nigga, you a studio gangster.
So, nigga, what up now I'm calling your bluff.
You ain't shit, but I wanna be banger.
You ain't from no hood, so quit acting like it's all good.
Don Morocco.
Yeah, man, that right there bring back some memories, some super memories. True, man. Oh man, what was that excitement like going on during that? Oh, you was mentioning there. He said 5. See, I would play it back, but 5 was mentioned in there. True, we have you on. You was mentioning there, correct? Yeah, trust me. You was mentioning there. Let me get him right back real quick because I don't think that you really feel that you was acknowledged. That's how I was feeling. Like, how come this guy didn't acknowledge?
5 was in there. I said 5 with homeboy, 5 with Ty Bud. Yeah, I mentioned 5.
You were in there. See, that's how people be feeling, man. Because we lived in those times. And when we hear those songs, especially being older now, we be like, damn, man, we was there in them times. Like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? But you definitely did. You know what I mean? Although you don't want to incriminate, put a lot of shit in, and it definitely. But that right there was some real shit, man. And we definitely had some fun times in our youth. And, man, just thinking back. Now, and with that said, put on your philosophical, psychic, Professor X helmet for a second, True, because you're a philosopher in many ways. Even if you don't think so, you are to me. What can we expect out of 21 or 2021 and beyond?
Shit, more of the same. More of the same. It's gonna definitely get worse before it get better. So
no change.
Nah, I mean, I don't wanna try to, you know, this year has been full of surprises already, so I just think, you know, prepare for the worst is all I really can say. Things that you probably wouldn't have did 10, 15, 20 years ago, you should probably start investing in tents and bulk food and noodles and shit like that.
Noodles, huh? Niggas always got to throw in some noodles, huh? Noodles here, peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Oh, got my noodles. Oh, you're going skydiving? I got my noodles. Nah, it's all good.
We got a lot of people that say noodles ain't good for you, but when you got kids and you know, it's gonna get worse, man. I say if you able to own a firearm, you know, especially our people, you know, stop allowing them to be so taboo. Invest in a firearm, educate your family on how to use them, make it a date night with your queen, you know, with your kids, so that way if it ever hit the fan, you know, that muscle memory will kick in and they know what to do.
Gotcha. That's definitely facts. It's actually fun too, going out there shooting a little bit. You know, you can actually get behind her. You thought pool was the best game to get behind your girl. Go take her out and try some shooting. Especially, you know what I mean, if you want to really get up on that booty and the first time you never even really got to touch them before, let me show you how to shoot this. And although it's kind of scary because, you know, they be shaking and shit. But anyhow, check me out. True, before we go, I do want to ask you this. Because we are in 2020, well, 2021 now, still in January, about to leave into February. Do you think now that we're in the future that we'll ever see extraterrestrials?
I think they're amongst us now. I mean, if you really want to be on some way out, I just think you're gonna start recognizing people that you've been seeing for years when they start really coming out.
Are you into the reptilian thing, or a hardcore philosophical, in-depth, deep, spiritual father like yourself? Or are you into the reptilian thing and all that other stuff?
I mean, I whatever you call them, I know that there's, I won't say no, but I believe that there's something different than us.
Humanoid, or just looking like an octopus or some shit like that?
I mean, I'm talking about, with the same level or higher intelligence. I think, I don't believe in coincidence, bro. I think chaos builds harmony, and if you're really a reader, you understand that.
No, that's a fact.
Civilization fell from chaos in order to build something different. Civilizations fall in order to build something different, usually with more control and ideas, which brings restrictions. So I just say prepare for the worst, man.
That's real. That's real.
We've been overlooking for years, man, that don't seem so crazy no more. They wrote a lot of this shit down years ago that's still prevalent in emergency plan. Take a chance to view this country's emergency plan. The shit that they wrote 150, 200 years mention the word alien invasions and zombie apocalypse. So somebody has some type of foresight to think of something that had to be relevant then for us to act on it now.
Yeah, that's, man, you couldn't set any, I couldn't set any better. Let me ask you this. You have any social medias, any way that anybody out there can get in contact with you? Any new music? You doing anything that you would like anybody involved out there to get involved with you?
Not at all, bro. I'm comfortably under my rock, and if you knock on my door, you fuck around and get shot at. So please don't come to me.
Wrong person to try to be cool with. Are you a cool guy?
I'm very cool. I'm just on my square, man. I believe in loving the people that love me, so I cherish my circle. You know what I mean? And we really don't accept applications.
Facts.
So I love everybody, you know what I mean, as far as wanting the best for everybody. But I stick to my own, man. I believe that you're only as strong as your weakest link, and I don't have any weak links in my circle.
Facts. Although, we won't even go into that. Besides that, man, I want to thank you all for coming out, enjoying ourselves. I had a blast. The Mystery Pound had a blast. Sure, the audience, when they watch this back, man, they gonna actually be like, they wasn't just talking shit. They was making sense. Sense is what we're here to achieve. True, I love you. You are one of the best artists that I've ever heard, and live the raps that we're speaking, because I lived in the times to where I was able to bear that. And we definitely are still friends today. It's like three of us. We hold a tight niche bond to where somehow we always end up in the same place. And that type of bond is definitely, truly needed and adored. And, because we're grown men, we don't have to say no homo or any of that homophobic slurs that people say when they're adoring another human being, and who just happens to be masculine, just like yourself or myself. So between 5, True, and G, man, we definitely are the trifecta. And with that, I like to say 2020, it came, and it just may never leave. As a child, I never would imagine watching a Twilight Zone on a 13-inch black and white TV screen in the 70s would spark my interest into such films like The Terminator 2, The Matrix, Book of Eli, The Walking Dead, and The Purge, only to wake up in 2021 and realize I had been watching world news this whole time. In 2020, and if 2020 stands for vision, then it's time to wake the fuck up. Because last year appears to be the last year of the life we thought we was going to wake up to last year. And with that, I thank you all for tuning in. I'm about to tune out. This was a great experience. Episode 3, G's Mystery Show, Our World Revealed, 2020 Revisited with the one and only True, as we reunited one more time to just look, sit back, relax, chill. I'm fucked up, not gonna front. I'm more faded than high because I'm not a drinker. Definitely smoke a lot. And man, I enjoyed myself. And with that said, guess I'll see you guys another time. And, you know, because I am drunk, let me go ahead and plug this in. I'm definitely about to go ahead and get into some of that sea moss. You're looking to replenish the body, boost up your immune system. Ladies, soothing up that beautiful skin. Fellas, ease those unwanted bowel movements, or we just get up in age and become elders. And our joints don't want to act right? Log on to Black Spatula, LLC.com. Yes, that's BLACKSPATULALLC.com. Providing that purple and sea moss gold, gel or in raw form, straight from the Jamaican waters, to help stand strong in this fight against the heavyweight champ, coronavirus, and that Junebug flu. And you can pick up those organic, homemade elderberries to help relieve nasal congestion, anti-inflammatory, potent anti-cancer, antiviral, treats respiratory illness, aid in wound care, high in vitamin A, B, C, and potassium, and natural support for arthritis. And if you hit them with that G-code, man, Black Spatula just might get you 20% off total purchase. Now, go follow Black Spatula on social media.